Welcome back to Syed Talks, the podcast where we dive into the strategies and systems that drive organizational excellence. I'm your host, Syed Zain Heather. Today, we are tackling a concept that is crucial to success in dynamic, customer facing businesses, HR in high foot traffic environments, the blended workforce. We are talking about the unique complexities of managing a diverse team, from permanent staff to contract workers in place like major retail stores where the pace is fast and consistently operational excellence is non-negotiable. To help us navigate this challenge and high stakes environment, I'm thrilled to introduce a true expert in strategic human resources. He brings a wealth of experience from complex, high volume settings, including his current influential position. He's focused on building high performance cultures and ensuring operational excellence across large, diverse teams. Please welcome our guest for today, Mr. Mohammed Faisal Latif, General Manager HR at Dolmen Mall.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. You introduce quite nicely. Yes, I'm currently heading HR for Dolmen Mall, Lahore. It's a kind of a mini city where thousands of visitors come every year, and behind every clean corridor, every secure environment, and every smooth interaction with customers, there's a workforce behind, and my role is to keep them motivated and make sure that they feel valued. And this is exactly my job role currently with Dolmen.
Sounds perfect. Mr. Faisal, before we jump into the deep end of managing a blended workforce in a high foot traffic environment, could you just quickly tell our listeners a little bit about your current focus and what excites you the most of the interaction of HR and businesses strategy in a place like Dolmen Mall?
Well, it is slightly different from the typical corporate HR. The mall HR is operating slightly differently, having blended workforce, because not only you have your internal staff, but you also have the outsourced staff. And you have hundreds of tenants working with you, different brands, retail brands are working with you. It's very challenging for an HR head and for the HR team to actually combine all those efforts into one experience for a customer who walks into our mall. For the customer, it's not the tenant, it's not the outsourced staff, and neither it's internal core team of Dolmen. It's basically the overall Dolmen experience that they want to enjoy. From the retail perspective, the combined training of the observation based whatever we think benchmarking Dolmen standard. We want to make sure that equalizing all the efforts and then delivering the customer experience that we want our customers to have and enjoy. It's very challenging to combine all of them, syncing their mindset with us and making it look like a family and one team. So far, I've been trying our best, and thanks to the leadership who has given this sort of mall experience in Lahore also. We've been having this mall in Karachi where similar sort of experience being witnessed. Here in Lahore, we're trying to benchmark that also and trying to go beyond this service delivery.
I love that. No, it's a perfect frame for our further conversation, like the Dolmen family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you briefly outline the different components of the Dolmen Mall workforce? Example, your the permanent and contract or vendor staff, and so.
Yeah, like I said in my previous reply, that the composition is very tricky here. We keep the core team with us so that we can focus on the areas where we want to improve our service delivery. So, like HR, marketing, finance, IT, we would like to keep it with us. And generally other malls, if you consider all the malls based in Pakistan, Karachi and Lahore and Islamabad, they would like to outsource their housekeeping and their securities and parking staff to another third-party provider. But here in Dolmen, we try to keep them with us also. because kind of a training that we want to give to those staff. We want to make sure that their service deliveries. That's a very good question. Just like different malls, we are actually operating our workforce slightly differently. In different malls, you would see probably the security and parking and other staff like housekeeping. They would outsource. Over here, we are actually keeping a core team with us, like HR, finance, marketing, and IT. But also, we are keeping security and parking staff with us and housekeeping staff with us. As housekeeping, we have outsourced, but just to make sure that our standards that we want to meet benchmark from Karachi and other projects that Dolmen have, we want to make sure that our service delivery has that uniformity in terms of their training, kind of a training content that they go through. It's just a matter of having, trust in outsource or outsource a third-party provider. Over here, so we have in-house staff as well as some outsourcing done for our housekeeping and for security, some of the security, not the entire security stuff. And then obviously we have some SLAs vendors who are actually giving us some maintenance services in our facilities management and MEP side, where all technical workers come in, and we kept them also in-house.
So, when we talk about the operational context, what are the top 3 HR challenges that are unique to a high foot traffic environment, like a 24/7 retail mall environment? So, compared to a typical corporate office, what are the 3 HR challenges you faced?
Well, so let's talk about the human ability to actually work across the clock. This is one of the biggest challenges that we initially faced. Then we came up with this roster management, where we make sure that people do not have transportation issues, they do not have fatigue issues, working around the clock, working excess hours, working overtime basis. Just to keep them motivated, we come up with different engagement activities also. So this is one of the challenges, the absenteeism and employees' stress management. The other could be, when there are events like Eid or any shopping festival where we expect a high footfall. Obviously, our frontline staff face that, and there could be bad customer interactions. There could be incidents where you have to be on your toe all the time, and that is a challenge for our frontline workers. Who we make sure that we take care of their mental well-being. We also give them the rewards that they are eligible for, and their services that they do on top of their normal working hours, and we try to compensate that as well.
Very well said, sir. So, my next question is, when deciding between a permanent hire and an outsourced contract, what are the three or maybe 2 key strategic criteria you use to make a buyer talent decision?
I think I tried to cover this in my previous response, where we strategically think when we do the workforce planning. So number one, we try to keep our core team with us, and that means that all our strategical decisions are with us, and most of the operations team is with us also on Dolmen's payroll. But when we talk about some activities that can be outsourced easily, the vendors are available, and based on our SLAs, our standards, if they can fulfill those standards, why not? So that we can focus that energy. When I say energy, that is their payroll administration cost, having a workers, and so answering to your question, what makes us keep certain staff in-house and certain staff outsource is purely based on our strategical interventions, where staffs are required to think long-term in the core area, more specifically the core operations, the human resource business partnering, the IT business partnering, marketing, sales, and leasing. These are the core stuff that we keep to ourselves, and partially security and housekeeping we outsource.
Following to this question, let's just come to the budgeting and cost. Like, how do you approach the composition and compensation and the benefits parity between these both
Yeah, this is very common.
critical roles?
Yeah, for an HR, it's a very common exercise that you go and participate into a survey, into a salary survey, which is globally recognized. One of the surveys I can name, for instance, Mercer's survey. We would try to find out the different job levels and their salaries structures, how market is trending right now. So based on that, we take our decision on our salaries, where we decide our minimum wage for a particular job level. We can decide on the basis of that by benchmarking different companies, more specifically the companies that comes within our industry, like their business nature is similar to us. So we love benchmarking them and find out our workers are being paid fairly, and they can see that transparency into it also. And on top of that, obviously, just to keep them motivated, and that is one of our retention strategy as well, since in the retail and mall businesses, there are a lot of turnover, of human turnover, and to actually cope up that, this helps us a lot to give them the right compensation. And also for our high potential talent, we would love to give that benefit, especially to those employees who are eligible for a certain package. We take care internally by benchmarking the industry.
How do you foster a single unified culture and sense of belonging among the contract staff and who may feel like outsiders in the permanent team? Like, how do you?
Well, in mall
Foster-
language, you say, that's a very famous saying, that if you take care of your employees will take care of your customers. So, answering to your question, our culture, I personally joined Dolmen on the basis of what kind of a transformation I can do for Dolmen. The administrative and old school of HR has been part of such organization where they have been custodian of compensation, trainings, recruitment, and all. But my purpose to coming to this retail and mall industry was purely based on people and culture. So one has to be people centric, and when you talk about AI and technology, I think this should not be HR versus technology. In future, it should be HR with technology. Technology should not be used for some automation purposes when you talk about HR. It should be used for people analytics purpose, for a professional like me. So culture has been very close to my heart ever since I started with Dolmen. When I see that being old school staff and staff being working in the isolation in silos, so breaking that barrier was kind of a challenge. And then I was able to actually introduce few interventions such as celebration of different events come across, and going out, taking breaks, going out during working hours, enjoying a away day for team, conducting any sports event. For instance, we have engaged our about thousands of employee into a cricket tournament in recent past. So we went on a picnic. We celebrate 14th August. We celebrate Women's Day. We celebrate different events that come. For instance, we get together during the Eid festival also. We distribute gifts, giveaways to our workers just to keep them motivated and make them feel associated with Dolmen. Now, coming back to your question to how we can actually, bring that uniformity into a different sort of workforce, diversified mindset working with us. For instance, our staff, tenants staff, retailers staff, and then outsourcer जिनके साथ हमारे SLAs हैं, keeping them into a one tunnel vision and one outcome, one objective has been a challenge, and alhamdulillah we have been successfully delivering our services. The more footfall comes in, the more services improves, because once we receive the complaints, that's an opportunity for us to deliver better. It's not about how we are solving the problem, it's about how we are actually listening to the problems and how quickly and efficiently we're responding to the problems of our customers. So it has been a challenge, but I guess this is how we've been working and enjoying.
Sir, next coming towards standardized training. So, what methods do you use to ensure the uniform standards across all the roles in the mall, employees and all the workers?
Well, Zain, in mall business, I think the best HR is the HR that is at the shop, not in the office. So I think one of the key success factor for me and my training team was that we have been observing problems, content for our training. So one typical exercise that all the organizations, and over the past 15, 16 years of my experience I've been doing, that is called learning need assessment. I would go with all the line managers and head of departments, finding out their team's training requirements. I will get that. I'll do some calibration with them. However, I'll get some data specifically to individual specific level, or specifically to their soft skills or their technical needs. That has been one of the way of learning the training needs. But in mall industry, in shopping mall, the HR has to be on the floor to be able to understand the problems that we can rectify through our training programs, be it a customer interaction, be it anti-harassment, things that we can include, or any fire or safety hazards, or anything that we can observe, we do that. And the last but not least, one of the ways to actually educate your employees on certain programs. It could be the company's values, it could be road safety as part of the CSR, it could be service etiquettes. So there are a few programs that we keep them mandatory in our business, and some programs that comes need basis, and some comes through the observation base. And there are developmental programs also that keeps going throughout the year for potential talent with us, जिसको हम future में कुछ देखना चाहते हैं, and then we bring those interventions for those employees also.
So, sir, talking about the compliance and risk, what is the biggest legal or regulatory compliance risk posed by managing a blended workforce, and how do you mitigate it?
They're basically third party की labor compliance करवाना. I think especially in Punjab, because I have been in Sindh for past 40 years. यहाँ पे आके एक number one challenge ये रहा है मुझे कि I've been following up a lot with our third party contractors, because उनकी labor compliance करवाना is our responsibility, Dolmen's responsibility. So this is one of the challenge. However, for our employees, we want to make sure that with our industrial relationship knowledge, all our labor compliance are being 100% followed in Dolmen, and that has been the rule of thumb for Karachi, and now since we're operating in Lahore and following all Punjab's labor policies and regulation, we follow that as per Government of Pakistan.
Sir, as you said कि आपके third party outsource interactions होते हैं. So my next question is, when an interpersonal conflict or any issue arises, मतलब आप उसको कैसे cater करते हैं?
So we leave the line managers to decide upon it. Once they resolve it, we clap. But if they are unable to resolve it, so as a mediator, we come into it, we do the investigation and hear both sides of the story, find out what's the root cause, and based on that we try to resolve. At the end of the day, our objective is to give good customer experience. And whether it's coming from our internal team or from a third party resource or from a tenant or retailer's workers, our ultimate objective is to satisfy the customer and give them the experience they are here for. So obviously, HR interventions is just when we think that it is not being resolved between the third party and our supervisors who are supervising them, and then we intervene and try to find out the root cause and then try to solve it. Usually, it hasn't been a bigger challenge so far. Challenges that I mentioned earlier in this podcast. Other than that, there are multiple other challenges which are not considered major challenges, and this is one of the challenges, like our labor compliances. The workforce conflicts is part and parcel of HR job, and we've been doing it successfully.
Let's just connect Dolmen Mall with technology. And what do you think how Dolmen uses a specific HR technology or software to, that proven most valuable for your managing sector?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I mentioned before, also that technology should not replace people. It should enable people to actually do the best that they can do. We do have a software, and that has helped a lot. And nowadays, in the contemporary HR practices, you must have an HR software that can empower your employees, that they can have a self-services for themselves. So in our case, we do have an attendance software, we do have a leave application, tracking management software, we have a payroll software, we have a recruitment software, and we have performance and training software that has helped us a lot when it comes to the data analytics, taking informed decision based on the statistics that we come across every month, every week, on daily basis. The applicant tracking system has helped us a lot, removing that old concept of piling up resumes on resumes. We got rid of that way earlier, and now our focus is to enable kind of software that can help us bring efficiency into the processes, and also remove or reduce chances of errors, and also improve the productivity of our employees. So the recruitment software has helped us, and same goes with this employee self-service portal that has helped our employees to be able to see their payslip on their phone, because we do have an application called Decibel that is accessible to all the workers, and they can do the attendance, they can mark their attendance within the geofencing area of 200 meters around the office. So these are the software and technological intervention that we brought into our company that has helped the staff operate in an efficient and effective manner.
That's a great step towards adaptability and future outlook. So looking ahead, that's my final question.
Yeah.
For today. What is the single most important trend or challenge HR professionals in the retail sectors needs to prepare for the next few years?
Well, in retail, like I said, there's a lot of retention issues, a lot of turnover problems. Even if you're working for Google, Microsoft, you don't leave the company, you leave your bosses, and that's a famous saying. You probably have heard this. I think the future leaders and the HR leaders should learn that lesson finally now, that आप चाहे कितना भी compensation improve कर लें, you make the environment so friendly for your staff, and your supervisor should interact with your subordinate in such a way that he would feel like interacting with him again and again. Nowadays, the problem here is that most of the turnover and most of the attrition that happens in companies like us and companies like other operating in Pakistan, that they are not satisfied with their supervisors. They are satisfied with their compensation maybe, right? They have a good lifestyle, work-life balance, sab kuch hai, but they have mental stress interacting with their supervisor. Maybe their dignity comes first, obviously, and they would love to be treated better way. They would love to be cared by their supervisors, finding out that how much our supervisor care about our mental well-being so that we can be more productive, how he would like to keep us motivated. And that is most important, especially in the retail sector where there's a lot of footfall on daily basis, and frontline staff are working extremely under pressure, under huge stress of working long hours. And obviously the supervisor is somebody who can improve their performances by more motivating them, making them feel valued. And obviously compensation is part and parcel of their job, and that is the HR responsibility to train and counsel those supervisors and line managers how to interact with their subordinates.
So, Mr. Faisal, this has been an incredible, insightful conversation. We've moved from defining the blended workforce as a necessity in high foot traffic environments to identify the core challenges like ensuring consistent brand experience, managing a high volume of temporary staff, and maintaining a single cohesive culture across the different employment types. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise and how to manage and more importantly optimize the HR strategies in this unique and demanding sector.
My pleasure.
So to our listeners, I hope this episode gives you a framework for auditing your own organization's people practices. So if you enjoyed this conversation, please remember to subscribe to Syed Talks whenever you listen to podcasts. So you can also contact with us and share your thoughts on today's topic on our social media handles. So join us next time. We continue to explore the systems that drive sustainable success. I'm your host, Syed Talks. Thank you.